Amir ibn Saleh rose before dawn as he did every day. The desert sky was still violet, holding the last stars like tiny lamps. A soft wind crossed the empty sand, whispering secrets only old travelers could understand. Amir listened, smiled, and then walked among his camels with gentle steps. He touched the neck of his lead camel, Marhaba. "Peace, my friend," he said in a calm voice. Marhaba gave a quiet grunt and nuzzled Amir's robe. The other camels stirred, tall shadows turning golden as first light crept over the dunes. Amir had been many things in his 52 years: student, scientist, negotiator, and finally herder. Long ago he left city life because the desert felt honest. Out here a man knew when he was hungry, when he was tired, and when he was safe. Buildings of iron and glass could fall. Sand and stars would remain. That was enough for him. After feeding his animals, Amir brewed tea on a small brass stove. The scent of mint drifted upward, warm and refreshing. He sat on a woven mat, lifted his cup, and watched sunrise paint the horizon orange. Each dawn felt like the universe signing a new treaty. With life, one more day offered, one more day accepted. Behind him, a dune sighed and shifted. Camels snorted but did not flee. Amir turned his head in quiet curiosity. He saw nothing, only ripples of sand. Yet experience told him that dunes rarely moved without cause. He waited, patient as stone. Minutes passed. The sun climbed higher. Shadows shortened. Amir poured a second cup. Suddenly he sensed eyes upon him. Soft eyes, searching eyes. He looked again at the dune and caught a flicker of pale light, like moon glow hidden in daylight. Someone, or something, was watching. Many. Years earlier, human explorers had met beings from other worlds. Most visitors were polite, some were proud, none were evil. Still, desert camps lay far from big landing sites, so seeing a stranger here was rare. Amir set his cup aside and stood. Without haste, he walked toward the dune. He carried no weapon. Instead, he brought a calm heart and an open hand. The wind tugged his scarf, lifting gray hair at his temples. Sand shifted again, and a small figure rose like a mirage made solid. She was perhaps 12 human years in height, slender and shining faintly, as if light lived within her skin. Her face was smooth, with eyes large and silver, reflecting sky and sand together. Her hair, if one could call it that, resembled thin ribbons of soft metal flowing to her shoulders. She wore a simple tunic the color of dawn clouds. Amir stopped at a respectful distance. "Good morning," he said in clear, gentle English. "You are welcome by my fire." The girl blinked, surprised. Her pupils contracted until they were slim like crescent moons. She glanced toward the camels, then back at Amir. When she spoke, her voice was musical yet steady, like wind chimes held by careful hands. "Greeting acknowledged," she replied. "I am observing." Amir smiled. "So I noticed. My name is Amir. May I know yours?" She paused as if measuring trust with silent weights. "Designation Lura of the Thalmir," she answered at last. "I mean no harm." "I believe you," Amir said. He gestured toward Marhaba. "Would you like to meet a camel?" At the word camel, Lura's silver eyes widened. She stepped closer, sand swirling around her small feet but never staining them. She examined Marhaba with intense wonder, tilting her head left and right like a scientist studying a rare gem. Marhaba remained calm, sniffing the air. She had guarded Amir since birth. She sensed his acceptance and copied it. Lura reached out, an elegant hand, but hesitated an inch away from the camel's fur. "It is alive," she whispered with honest awe. "Its respiration warms the air." "All living creatures breathe," Amir said softly. "Would you like to touch her? She is kind." Lura nodded. She placed her hand on Marhaba's neck. A pale glow shimmered where skin met fur, then dissolved. Lura gasped, an honest, delighted gasp that made Amir's heart lift. She stroked the camel, fingers trembling with fascination. "How does it carry so much water?" she asked. I have data but no memory of texture, of scent, of warmth. Data can teach, Amir answered, but touch can transform learning into understanding. He sensed unfolding joy within her and decided to share more. Come, walk with me. We must find grazing shrubs before heat becomes heavy. Lura followed beside him. Together, man and alien led the caravan through waves of gold. As they walked, Amir spoke of Earth's deserts, about caravans, oases, and trade routes older than recorded time. He explained how camels helped shape cities far away, how they served in peace and survived in wars. Lura listened, storing every word like jewels. Under the widening blue sky, Lura asked questions. Why do you live alone? Do the camels know your voice by pattern or by intent? What is the meaning of the tea scent that rises each morning? Amir answered patiently. I live alone to remember silence, he said, because silence can heal. The camels know me by trust first, pattern second. And the mint in tea reminds my mind that every new day can taste fresh. Lura considered each reply, her expression shifting between analysis and something gentler. A soft smile touched her lips when a young camel trotted near and nudged her side, inviting play. She laughed, a clear, ringing sound that startled nearby birds into flight. Amir stopped walking. He watched her laugh, eyes shining brighter than the desert sun. In that instant, he saw not a visitor or an emissary, but a child discovering wonder. It warmed him more than the daylight ever could. After an hour, they reached a dry valley where pale shrubs poked through cracked ground. The camels chewed contentedly. Amir and Lura found shade under a leaning rock. He poured water into a shallow, wooden bowl and handed it to her. This is pure, he said. No salt, no sand. She accepted the bowl, drinking carefully. A tiny drop touched her cheek and sparkled before evaporating. Your hospitality is pleasant, she murmured, almost shy. Hospitality's an old desert law, Amir replied. Out here, survival depends on shared kindness. A small silence followed, comfortable, not empty. Lura traced a line in the dust with her fingertip, creating a pattern like concentric suns. My people measure value in knowledge, she said. Yet I feel something different now. It is not knowledge. She looked up, eyes soft. What do you call this feeling? Amir thought. Perhaps wonder, he offered, or simple joy. Wonder, she repeated, tasting the word. Yes, I have discovered wonder. She placed her palm on her chest as if to hold the new emotion close. From afar, a low hum drifted, faint, distant. Amir recognized the sound of a starship engine. The note was steady, harmless for now. He guessed a patrol might be scanning for Lura. He would worry later. In this moment, wonder mattered more. He stood and collected dry twigs fallen from the few hardy trees. He built a small cooking fire and warmed flatbread over the flames. The aroma mingled with the desert air. Lura watched, fascinated by orange, tongues licking wood. Fire is beautiful, she said softly. It can cook food, warm bones, and guide night travelers, Amir explained. But uncontrolled, it destroys. Balance is the lesson. She nodded, storing the idea alongside countless data points. When the bread was ready, Amir broke it in half and offered a piece. Lura examined it, then tasted carefully. Her eyes widened again. It is simple, she said, chewing slowly, but rich. Much like life out here, Amir answered. The sun leaned westward while they spoke. Shadows stretched, heat softened. The camels finished grazing and knelt to rest. Amir checked their water skins, always careful. Survival demanded discipline. Lura rose and walked among the animals, measuring each hump, observing their eyelashes that protected eyes from sand, listening to the soft grunts they exchanged. She noted how Marhaba's breathing deepened after eating. Yet the more she measured, the more she smiled instead of recording. Amir joined her. Did you find what you needed? She faced him, silver eyes now gentle. I thought I needed numbers, she said. I have found something else. Stories. Songs hidden in every breath of these creatures. Amir chuckled quietly. Then today has been generous. As twilight returned, painting the desert violet again, they led the camels back to camp. Distant dunes glowed like embers in fading light. The wind grew cooler, carrying scents of sage and distant rain no man could reach tonight. At his fire, circle, Amir poured evening tea. The first star appeared, bright, unblinking. Lura sat across from him, hands folded. Tomorrow, Amir said, you may ride a camel if you wish. Her eyes shone. I would be honored. They drank in comfortable silence. Above them, constellations awakened, maps older than any alliance. Lura looked up, pointing to a star cluster. That is where my vessel orbits, she whispered. Then your home watches over you. Amir replied kindly. She lowered her hand. Will you tire of my questions? He smiled, lines crinkling at the corners of his eyes. No. Questions keep a mind young. Ask freely. Then why do the camels trust you so deeply? Because I trust them first, he answered. Trust is a mirror. Offer it, and it reflects back. Lura fell silent, contemplating. The campfire crackled. Marhaba groaned contentedly as she lay down. Somewhere a distant engine hummed again, closer. But beneath the hum an older song played. Desert breath, camel heartbeats, human kindness. Night deepened, weaving silver across the dunes. In that quiet beauty, an alien girl and a desert herder shared bread, tea, and newfound wonder, unwritten yet powerful. Under a sky filled with countless worlds, they proved that even the smallest meeting could change more than data ever could. The next morning, Amir woke before the sun. The desert was still wrapped in night's cool silence. Only a soft breeze moved, carrying a promise of heat to come. The camels were still resting, their large eyes blinking slowly in the dim light. Amir stretched his arms, then looked toward the sleeping figure near the fire pit. Lura was curled beneath a blanket he had offered the night before. Her face looked peaceful, her glowing skin dimmed under the early shadows. She was not like any being Amir had met before, graceful, intelligent, but curious like a child seeing the world for the first time. He prepared tea again, adding mint leaves and waiting for the boil. As the steam rose, Lura stirred. She sat, up, blinking at the golden light rising from the east. Good morning, Amir said kindly. Yes, a good morning, she answered. Your sun is warm but not aggressive. It rises gently. Amir smiled, like the desert itself, strong but polite. Lura stood, brushing sand from her robe. She looked toward the camels who were now rising slowly, stretching their long necks and legs. They slept well, she said. They always do when the stars are clear, Amir replied. He handed her a cup of tea. Try this, it's a tradition. She took the cup, holding it carefully. After a small sip, her eyes widened. This is strange. Bitter. Sweet. Fresh. What is its purpose? Amir chuckled. Its purpose is to wake you up and make you feel alive. I feel curious, she said, studying the steam with wonder. After breakfast, Amir guided her to the camels. Today he had promised her a ride. Marhaba stood tall and proud, ready for the task. Are you sure she will let me? Lura asked. She trusts you now, Amir said. Trust, once earned, is strong. He helped her onto Marhaba's back and guided the camel forward. At first Lura clutched the saddle tightly, her balance unsteady. But soon she relaxed, her body swaying gently with the camel's steps. This is unlike anything I know, she whispered. It's slow but steady, Amir said, walking beside her. A good way to see the world. They moved across the sand, following ancient caravan trails. Lura's eyes darted from dune to dune, watching small lizards, wind-carved rocks, and the shifting patterns of sand. There is life everywhere, she said softly, even in what appears empty. Exactly, Amir said. You must look closely to see it. After some time, they reached a small oasis, a patch of green where date palms leaned over a still pool. Birds chirped in the trees. Amir let the camels drink, and Lura dismounted carefully. She crouched by the water, touching the surface. It's real. This is not synthetic. It comes from deep within the earth. Yes, Amir said, sitting on a rock. This oasis has been here for centuries. Caravans rested here long before machines took over trade. Machines bring speed, Lura said, but not peace. You understand quickly? Amir replied, impressed. Lura sat beside him. Her silver eyes reflected the water, the palms, the sky. I was trained to observe, not to feel, she said after a pause. We are taught that emotion clouds judgment. And do you agree with that? Amir asked. I'm not sure anymore, she replied. Yesterday, when the baby camel touched my hand, I laughed. I haven't laughed since I left our world. Amir nodded. Laughter is a gift. It means your spirit is alive. Lura looked at him. Why did you leave the cities? You were once a scientist. Yes? I was, Amir said, his voice soft. I worked on space communication, helped translate alien languages after first contact. But the work became cold. Too many rules, too many meetings. No time to feel the sky above or the earth below. So, I returned here to simplicity. And are you happier now? Amir smiled. Happier, yes, not rich, not famous, but peaceful. She was quiet for a while, watching the water ripple. Then she asked, Do you believe different beings can truly understand each other? I do, Amir said. Not through words alone, but through shared moments like this one. Lura nodded slowly. Then she reached into her robe and pulled out a small device, a thin tablet that glowed softly. I recorded yesterday's observations, she said. Would you like to see? He nodded. She placed the tablet between them and tapped the screen. A 3D image appeared. Marhaba sniffing her hand, the baby camel nudging her side, the campfire glowing under the stars. You captured it beautifully, Amir said. But not fully, Lura replied. The data is here, but not the feeling. I see now that something is missing. That missing part is called memory, Amir said. It's what makes a moment live inside you. She looked at him, truly seeing him now, not just as a subject of study, but as a teacher. Then I want more memory, more moments. You're welcome to stay, Amir said, as long as you respect the rhythm of this place. I will, she promised. They stayed at the oasis until the sun reached its peak. Then they returned to camp, the camels, walking calmly through the heat. That evening, as the sky turned pink and orange, Amir taught Lura how to bake flatbread over the fire. She was clumsy at first, dropping a piece into the coals, but then she laughed again, brushing ash from her fingers. Even mistakes can taste good, she joked. Amir smiled. Now you're learning the most important lesson. Later, they sat under the stars. Amir pointed out constellations, telling stories from his culture, about lions, hunters, and ancient kings who walk the sky. We also have star stories, Lura said. But they are mathematical, not poetic. Maybe it's time to write. New stories, Amir said. Lura nodded. Her voice was quiet but certain. With camels, and tea, and laughter. Amir chuckled. Now that would be a tale worth telling across galaxies. As the night deepened, Lura leaned back and stared at the stars. Her people were still out there, orbiting, Earth, waiting. But something had changed. Her mission had changed. She no longer just wanted to observe. She wanted to understand, and for the first time in her life she felt that maybe, just maybe, she belonged. 3 days passed since Lura first arrived at Amir's desert camp. Each day the sun rose high and hot, but peace and learning filled the air. Lura no longer stood apart from the camels. She moved among them like wind between dunes, light and careful. They had come to accept her, even the shy young ones. Amir watched all this with quiet joy. He was used to silence, but Lura brought a gentle kind of noise. Questions, wonder, laughter. It was a sound he hadn't heard in years, and he had begun to enjoy it. That morning, Amir sat near the fire preparing breakfast. The smell of flatbread mixed with mint tea as the fire crackled softly. Lura returned from checking on the camels and sat beside him. Her cheeks glowed faintly, not from heat, but from excitement. "I learned something new," she said with a spark in her voice. "Camels do not just follow, they remember." Amir nodded. "Yes, they remember paths, faces, and even kindness." Lura placed her hands together. "Where I come from, we do not raise creatures. We build tools, we program them. But your animals, they think and feel, they trust." "Trust cannot be built from metal," Amir said. "It must be offered freely." Lura stared at the fire, her expression thoughtful. "My people do not understand this. They believe feelings are unstable. Emotions are viewed as errors." "And what do you believe now?" Amir asked gently. She took a deep breath, as if choosing her words carefully. "I believe emotions are not errors, they are bridges." Before Amir could reply, a soft humming noise came from above. It was deep and slow, like the whisper of a sleeping engine. Amir and Lura both looked up. In the clear morning sky, a dark shape moved silently, like a bird made of shadow. Lura's face turned serious. "That is one of ours. A scout vessel. They are looking for me." "Will they land?" Amir asked calmly. "No, not yet," she said. "They are watching, waiting to see what I do. And if they think you are in danger, they will take me back, and by force if needed." Amir stood slowly and poured tea into 2 cups. "Then let's give them no reason to fear." They drank quietly. The humming faded into the sky. The camels returned to grazing, unbothered. Lura sighed. "I sent a report yesterday. I was honest. I told them I was learning things we had ignored. I asked for more time. Will they allow it? I don't know," she admitted. "They value rules, and I broke one." Amir raised an eyebrow. "By coming here?" "By staying," she said softly. That afternoon they traveled to a new grazing spot, farther than usual. Amir wanted Lura to see a special place. It was an old ruin, half buried in sand, with stone walls built by nomads long ago. The wind had shaped the stones into soft edges like forgotten memories. "What is this place?" Lura asked. "A resting post," Amir said. "Long ago caravans stopped here to sleep, eat, and trade. Now it is only silence and stone." They entered the ruin. Inside, cool shadows rested beneath the walls. Amir lit a small lantern. Lura touched the ancient bricks with wonder. "There is history in every crack," she said. "So much forgotten." "Not forgotten," Amir said. "Just waiting to be remembered." He showed her faded carvings on the walls, symbols of camels, stars, and palm trees. She scanned them with her tablet, but also traced them with her fingers. "My people have archives," she said, "but no one carves feelings into stone. We record facts, not stories." Amir sat on a low bench. "A story is a kind of truth that facts alone can't hold." Lura sat beside him. She was quiet for a moment, then said, "They might come for me tonight." "Will you go with them?" Amir asked. She didn't answer right away. "Part of me says I must. Another part wants to stay." "Do you feel fear?" She shook her head. "Not fear, something else, hard to name." "Perhaps it is belonging," Amir offered. That evening, back at camp, they didn't speak much. They sat by the fire, the camels resting near them. Stars blinked into view one by one. The desert wind carried soft sounds, an owl, a distant howl, the creak of old leather. Suddenly, a blue light lit the sand near the camp. A ship descended, silent and sleek. It hovered just above the ground, casting a perfect circle of light. From its side, a tall figure stepped down. It was another Thalmir, robed in silver and blue. His face was calm, but his eyes sharp. Lura, he said in a steady tone. You were instructed to observe, not to engage. Lura stood tall. I did more than engage. I learned. You risked protocol. I found something more valuable than protocol. The figure's eyes shifted to Amir. You are the human. Amir stood with dignity. Yes, and she is safe here. The Thalmir nodded once. We do not doubt her safety. We question her loyalty. To what? Amir asked. To silence or to growth? The alien was quiet for a moment. Then he said, You are wise for a human. Wisdom comes from living, not just knowing, Amir replied. The Thalmir looked back at Lura. Your report was read. It stirred discussion. Some were moved. Lura's eyes widened. Moved? We do not usually share emotions, but your words, your experiences, challenged us. Then what happens now? Amir asked. She must choose, the Thalmir replied. Return now or remain as a representative, as a bridge. Lura stepped forward. If I stay, will I still be Thalmir? You will be something new, the figure said. Half of us, half of them. She turned to Amir. May I stay? Amir smiled. You never needed my permission. You already belong. The Thalmir gave a slow nod. Then he turned and returned to his ship. It rose into the sky, the blue light fading like a dream. Lura sat down by the fire, her shoulders light. I chose feeling over fear, and they allowed it, Amir said. They were not ready before. But now, maybe they are beginning to listen. Amir poured her a fresh cup of tea. Then let's teach them slowly, one story at a time. As they drank, the camels grunted softly nearby. The stars above seemed brighter. The desert was still the same, endless, patient, quiet. But now it held something new, the echo of change and the promise of a friendship that could reshape worlds. The desert dusk glowed amber when the message came. Lura sat near the little cooking fire, polishing a saddle buckle while Amir mixed grain for the camels. A faint pulse of light shimmered across the sky. 3 slow flashes, a pause, 3 more. She knew the code at once. It is the Thalmir Council, she said, voice calm but troubled. They ask for a live meeting. Tonight. Amir nodded, unsurprised. They have given you days to think. Now they wish to see your choice with their own eyes. Lura smoothed her robe and looked toward the darkening horizon. They may arrive in strength. Strength is not only in numbers, Amir replied. He sprinkled the last grain, then wiped his hands on his robe. True strength is a quiet heart. Waiting for the visitors, they prepared camp with care. Lanterns were set at the 4 corners so the approaching ship could land safely. Marhaba and the other camels were led to a ridge where they could watch yet remain calm. Lura placed her data tablet in a cloth bag. Tonight she would speak with her own voice, not through screens. As night settled, a cool breeze swept the sand, drawing long silver lines beneath the moon. Amir brewed fresh mint tea. The steam carried comfort into the high, still air. Drink, he offered. Your throat will need calm more than your mind needs data. Lura took the cup, grateful. Will you speak as well? I will speak if asked, he said. But this is your moment. I will stand beside you as friend. A distant hum rose, deep and smooth like the low note of a giant flute. A slender craft glided from the stars, its hull glowing pale blue. Instead of landing engines, gentle anti-grav fields pushed soft ripples across the sand, raising no dust. The ship stopped 10 paces from the lantern line and hovered knee-high above the ground. A door slid open. 3 figures stepped out. All were Thalmir, robes trimmed with silver thread. The middle one wore a circlet of dull metal, a council mark. Behind them, the ship's lights dimmed to respect the darkness. Words in the moonlight. The lead figure raised a hand, palm forward. Peace. Peace, Lura answered and bowed lightly. Amir copied her bow, hands clasped. The counselor's voice was smooth like polished stone. Observer Lura, your reports are detailed yet puzzling. You claim emotional growth, cultural merging, and new insight. The council requests clarification. I am ready, Lura said. She stepped into the lantern glow so they could see her face clearly. Since arriving, I have learned lessons no archive could hold. I have found value in living memory, in trust, given without demand. A second counselor tilted his head. Our directive forbids deep emotional ties during first study. You have broken that rule. I have followed a higher rule, she replied. The one that says learning is empty without understanding. Soft rustling came from the ridge. Marhaba snorted, her way of greeting strangers. The sound floated down into the camp, gentle but firm, like a desert drumbeat. The counselors glanced toward it. Amir stepped forward 2 paces, keeping respectful distance. Honored travelers, may I address you? The lead counselor nodded. Thank you, Amir, said voice steady. I am Amir ibn Saleh, former scientist, present herder, friend to Lura. She reached my camp by chance. I offered shelter as desert law commands. In return, she offered curiosity, and together we found friendship. Human friendship is not our concern, the second counselor said. Our concern is mission drift. Mission drift happens when a mind closes, Amir replied, not when it opens. Lura did not drift away from purpose, she drifted toward greater purpose. There was a quiet moment. Only the crackle of the fire and the soft breath of wind could be heard, proof in plain sight. The third counselor, who had been silent until now, stepped closer. Her eyes held a gentle shine. We have statistics, charts, and project goals, but you speak of feelings. How does one measure such things? Amir gestured toward the ridge. May I show you? He walked to the camels with slow, open steps, so as not to alarm the animals. The counselors followed, curious despite themselves. Under the moon, Marhaba stood tall, ears forward. When Amir reached her, he touched her neck and spoke a single word in Arabic, an old word meaning trust. The camel lowered her head so Lura could place her palm on its muzzle. Watch her heartbeat, Amir said. It is calm. She senses. No threat, though strangers stand near. This calm is not an accident, it is built from daily kindness. Trust changes a creature's body. That change can be measured. Breath rate, muscle tension, hormone level. The third counselor lifted a dia sensor from her sleeve. It showed steady lines and low stress markers. She seemed surprised. Evidence of emotional safety, she murmured. Amir smiled. Now consider Lura. She arrived logical but guarded. Today she laughs, asks deep questions, even bakes bread. Her body glow has shifted to warmer tones. Your own bioreaders will prove it. Such change is growth you can measure. The lead counselor glanced at his peers. Growth is good. Yet our charter warns that deep emotional ties may cloud objective judgment. Lura stepped between them and the camel, her voice clear. Counselor, objectivity without empathy can turn knowledge into stone. I have not lost clarity. I have gained context. She drew her tablet from the cloth bag and projected a brief sequence. Images of her first unsure steps in the camp, her wonder at the oasis, her laughter when flatbread fell into the fire. Next came charts. Improved stress resilience, faster, creative problem solving, richer lexical choices when speaking. The data matched Amir's words. These numbers tell the same story feelings tell, she concluded. Emotion does not erase fact. It colors it and adds depth. The decision, the counselors withdrew a few steps to confer in soft voices. Amir and Lura waited, silent under the stars. The wind died, leaving perfect stillness. Above, the Milky Way stretched like a river of light. After several minutes, the lead counselor returned. Observer Lura, we recognize your findings. We also see your request to continue here as a cultural liaison. Lura's heart beat faster. Yes, we are cautious, he continued, but not blind. Your experience may benefit our society. Therefore, the council offers a compromise. He produced a small silver badge. Remain here for one full desert cycle, 30 Earth days, as an official bridge scholar. Continue your studies. Send open reports. After that, return briefly. For review, then plans will be made together. Lura accepted the badge with steady hands, relief shining in her eyes. Thank you, counselor, I accept. The second counselor spoke next. There is one more matter. Human Amir ibn Saleh, will you agree to host visiting scholars from our people? They will arrive in small numbers, observe your ways, and share no harm. Amir bowed. I will open my camp to any who come in peace, so long as they respect the rhythm of the desert. The counselors placed their hands together in the Talmir sign of respect. Then tonight a new path begins. They turned and walked back to their vessel. The ship lifted silently, rose into the sky, and vanished among the stars, leaving only the soft glow of lanterns and the quiet song of night insects. New dawn, new duties. Lura looked at Amir, her smile gentle and bright. A bridge scholar, she said, almost laughing. I have a title longer than my name. You earned it, Amir answered. But titles are light. The real weight is in the work. She nodded. I will work hard. We have 30 days to show what trust can build. Amir gazed at the horizon where first light was already hinting. Then we begin at dawn. That dawn came rosy and clear. Together they led the camels toward fresh pasture. Lura carried her tablet. Yes. But she also carried a woven shoulder bag filled with bread, dried dates, and a tiny jar of mint leaves, gifts from Amir's simple store. As they walked, she recorded sounds, the crunch of camel steps, the hush of sand, the flutter of small desert birds. She added spoken notes explaining how each sound felt. It was data, but touched by poetry. Around mid-morning, a shimmering object streaked overhead. A small drone, no doubt, sent by the council to watch. Amir shaded his eyes and waved. Lura waved too, smiling. For once, distant observers felt welcome. The lesson of the lantern. That night after the day's tasks, Amir placed a single lantern on a dune top. Its flame flickered in the darkness, tiny yet brave. Lura joined him there. Why, one lantern? She asked. To remind me that large darkness can be answered by small light, Amir said. She considered that, then reached into her robe and pulled out a slender crystal disc. She set it beside the lantern. Inside the disc, a cool blue glow awoke, soft, steady, serene. Our lights together, she said. The golden flame and the gentle blue rested side by side, mingling glows across the sand. Above them, constellations old and new watched. Human heroes, alien equations, and now perhaps a camel or two. Amir spoke softly. Bridges are built plank by plank, word by word, smile by smile. Lura responded, Then let us keep building, until even the stars feel close. They sat there for a long time, man, alien girl, and distant camels resting like dark ships on a silver sea, while two small lights burned against the vastness. No battles were fought, no crowns were won, yet something grand had happened all the same. Hearts from different worlds had chosen to meet halfway, and that choice shone brighter than any lantern on any dune. And far above, in ships and stations, watchers recorded the scene. Numbers would be noted, charts would be drawn. But somewhere, even in the quiet halls of protocol, a silent smile would spread across careful faces, for they had seen what rules alone could never promise. The gentle victory of trust beneath the stars. 30 dawns had passed since the council named Lura a bridge scholar. In that time, the desert camp had changed without losing its calm heart. A new canvas shelter, gifted by the Thalmir, now sat beside Amir's goat hair tent. Thin crystal, panels lined the roof and drank sunlight for power. Woven rugs from a nearby human village colored the sand with reds and golds. The camp looked like a meeting of two dreams, one from Earth's past, one from a star far away. Yet the greatest change lived in the people, and in the camels. A busy morning on this last morning of the trial month, Amir woke early as always. The sky glowed pale rose and cool air brushed his cheeks. He rose, whispered a greeting to the quiet dunes, then moved among the camels. Marhaba lifted her head and grunted softly. The baby, now called Noura, light in both Arabic and Thalmir speech, trotted over hoping for dates. "Patience, little one," Amir said, laughing softly. He stroked her neck, then checked each water skin. From the new shelter, Lura stepped out, carrying her tablet and a small wooden flute Amir had carved for her. Her silver eyes were softer these days, touched by a warmth that came from inside, not from any glowing skin. She waved. "Good sunrise, Amir." "And to you, bridge scholar," he replied with a playful bow. She rolled her eyes, an earth habit she had picked up. "Today the council calls again. I will share our month of work. Are you ready?" "As ready as ever." The camels have rehearsed their parts. "Their parts are mostly chewing," she said, smiling. "Chewing with dignity," he corrected. They shared breakfast, flatbread, olives, dates, and of course mint tea. While they ate, the first visitors arrived, 2 Thalmir scholars gliding down in a small craft, and 1 human ethnographer riding an old motorcycle across the sand. All 3 had been coming twice a week to observe lessons. They greeted Amir and Lura with practiced hand signs of both cultures. Soon a circle formed: Amir, Lura, the 3 scholars, and just outside the lantern posts, a ring of curious camels. Marhaba took the front position, as if she knew her responsibility as camp elder. The sharing of lessons. Lura tapped her tablet. A clear hollow screen appeared in the bright air, showing simple icons instead of dense charts. Amir's suggestion so that any passerby, human or alien, might understand. She began. "Today I present our findings of 30 days. We measured stress, memory, and creative problem skill in every visitor, human and Thalmir, before and after camel care. Each measure improved by at least 20%. She swiped. Pictures replaced numbers. A scholar brushing Noura's fur and laughing. Amir teaching a council drone to carry a water skin. A human child from a nearby oasis drawing a camel under alien starlight. Trust, Lura said, proved more than a word. It became a tool. When trust was present, both species learned faster, solved problems faster, and rested better. We have hard data. She flashed quick bar graphs. But more important than data are the faces you see here. Amir stepped forward. Knowledge is a fine treasure, he said in simple English so all could follow. But it can feel cold if you never share bread with it. Bread, tea, and gentle creatures warmed our knowledge. He gave the human ethnographer a nod. The man raised a cloth bag and took out small loaves baked yesterday by Lura herself, round, golden, flecked with desert herbs. He handed one to each scholar. Eat, Amir said. Taste the lesson. They did, smiling at the soft texture. Surprise guest just then, a new hum filled the air, deep but friendly. A bigger ship, the same that had come on the first night, slid down through the blue. It landed with barely a stir of dust. The council had come in person. Doors opened. The 3 counselors of before emerged, joined by a 4th figure, an elder, with hair like shining metal threads. He leaned on a staff made of clear crystal. His eyes carried centuries of curiosity. Lura straightened. High Research Elder Therial, she whispered. He rarely leaves the homeworld. Amir bowed deeply. Welcome, he said. Therial returned the bow. I have watched your reports. I wish to feel this place myself before our ruling. His gaze drifted to Marhaba. May I? Amir smiled. She is honored. The elder approached the camel slowly. Marhaba lowered her great head until his hand touched her forehead. Something like a soft sigh passed over the group, as if the desert itself approved. Therial's eyes closed. For a moment, all were silent. When he opened them again, they shone with light. Her heartbeat is steady as a drum of old stories, he said softly. And I feel calm. Lura's voice was hopeful. That is the calm of trust, Elder. He nodded. I begin to see. The final council. The councillors formed a half-circle before Amir and Lura. The scholars and the human ethnographer stood behind, respectful. Camels lay quietly, watchers on 4 knees. Above, a lone hawk circled high, as if nature itself wanted to attend. The lead counselor spoke. Bridge Scholar Lura, your month ends today. Your proposal is to create a permanent exchange site here, open to both species. The council must decide. He looked toward the elder. Theriel raised his staff. I traveled here expecting good data and kind stories. I found more. I found a field where curiosity and gentleness grow side by side. I support the proposal. The second counselor, once most cautious, now stepped forward. I walked among the camels last week and measured my own fear. It was low, my curiosity was high. I too support. The third counselor simply smiled and raised a hand of agreement. It was decided. Lura bowed, voice trembling with joy. Thank you. We will honor your trust. Amir placed a hand over his heart. My camp is yours, shared under the same sky. Planting the first seed to mark the decision, the elder presented a small, transparent seed sphere. Inside rested a sapling from the Thalmir world, a desert-friendly tree that produced blue-green leaves and sweet water-rich fruit. He gave it to Lura. Plant this beside your camel trough, he said. Let it root beside theirs. 2 life forms, 1 ground. Lura accepted it, eyes bright. She and Amir walked to a soft patch of sand near the water skins. With a small spade, Amir dug while Lura set the sphere. Sand covered it, and Lura dripped a little water from a clay cup. Grow well, she whispered. Amir added, May your shade tell new stories. The scholars and counselors clapped their hands in Thalmir fashion. 3 light taps to honor beginnings. Evening celebration. That night, the camp was alive with gentle music. Amir played his old oud, its strings humming like wind in palm, leaves. Lura piped soft notes on the flute he had carved, some human scales, some alien intervals. Together they made a melody nobody had heard before. Lanterns of gold flame and lanterns of blue crystal hung side by side. The camels rested in a loose ring around the fire, their shadows tall on the sand. Counselors tasted desert stew, scholars traded jokes with the ethnographer, and above them constellations glittered. At one point Nura trotted into the circle, sniffed the elder's robe, then gently tugged a loose ribbon. Laughter rose, free and clean. The elder broke a date in half and offered it to the curious calf. A click of holo cameras captured the moment. Ancient animal, wise star traveler, desert night. Quiet words by the dune later, when most had slipped away to sleep in tents or in. The ship Amir and Lura climbed a nearby dune. They carried no lantern. Moonlight was enough. From that height, they could see the whole camp. Tiny fires, quiet camels, the silver ship, and, at the center, the young tree glowing faintly as it took root. It looks small now, Lura said, pointing to the sapling. So did Nura when she was born, Amir answered. Growth is patient. She nodded, then turned serious. Next month I must travel to the council hub for a longer debrief. I will be gone 2 weeks. Amir's face was calm, but his eyes showed a hint of sorrow. The desert will keep your place. I will return, she promised. This is home now, too. Wind lifted a strand of her metallic hair. He caught it lightly between 2 fingers, then let it go. The desert taught me long ago. When you love something, you do not cage it. You let it walk its path, and paths meet again if hearts stay true. Her eyes shone. Then our paths are certain to meet. First light of the new day at dawn, the visitors prepared to leave. The elder walked up the ship ramp but paused. He looked back at Amir tending the camels and at Lura refilling water skins. He placed a hand over his heart, an earth sign he had learned during the night, then disappeared inside. Engines hummed. The ship rose, tilting its wings in a quiet salute before climbing into the brightening sky. When silence returned, Amir and Lura stood side by side. A soft bleat made them turn. Nura was chewing on a thorny shrub, unaffected by cosmic events. Amir laughed. Galactic history unfolds and she worries only about breakfast. Perhaps she is wise, Lura said. She picked a fresh branch, placed it before the calf, and watched Nura eat. Wisdom is caring for simple needs first. They rolled up their mats, fed the camels, and packed a small lunch. There were dunes to cross, an oasis to check, and data and memories to gather. Life continued, but it felt larger now, wider than any horizon. As they started their journey, Lura pulled out her tablet. She tapped begin recording, but before speaking, she looked at Amir. "How would you title today's entry?" she asked. He gazed at the endless sand, the newborn tree, the retreating starship. A gentle smile touched his lips. "Call it The Day the Desert Became a Bridge." She recorded the words. "And tomorrow." "Tomorrow," he said, leading Marhaba forward. We start building the road. The camel caravan moved off, footprints marking soft lines that morning wind.